So what's really amazing is that these different groups of people, the friend, the enemy, the stranger, they can all change place at any time. So this is the impermanent nature of our life. And so some of you may have already had this experience. Somebody that was a stranger 2 years ago, maybe a really dear loved one to you now. Perhaps someone who didn't like became a loved one. And then the thing to think also about these folks is that they're all equal. They're the same as you and me. They have this wish to be happy and a wish to be free from suffering, and in having this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So this is a purification practice done in the context of the deity called Vajrasattva. And so we start by thinking there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is actually, we're working with our mind, so it's psychological. So we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity instead. And we start with the power of regret. So think about this. Sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our future lives. And then, or past lives, I'm sorry. And then think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we will experience. We know from our present suffering, we don't want it. And logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken any vows that I might have because I don't want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and all these delusions that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, oh, I'm just sick of this suffering. And then think, okay, so what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So we turn to this Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see rather than a higher power who has control over us and our destiny, we see him more like a doctor. So here he is here, very useful, beautiful, radiant body. But this is a painting, a tanka. So you can imagine this, something similar to this image above the crown of your head, except this whole image is actually made of light now. This is a light-bodied deity above the crown of your head. And so you can also imagine, if you have a teacher, you can imagine that this is actually the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and very peaceful, and they're full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life, including the ones you don't like. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot, and his arms are crossed at his heart. And the left hand is underneath the right and holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right holds a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think of someone that you've harmed recently, maybe someone in the past, and then think of those people who may have harmed you, and particularly have compassion for them. This is a wish for them to be free from suffering, because they will suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy. And so this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we use mantra and visualization. So we start by purifying the body. And you can imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around, enters your crown, and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, but one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sutam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida meboa, sutokaya meboa, supokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasedi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasappa samaya manupalaya, vajrasappa dina patita, Dida meboa, sutokaya meboa, supokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasedi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasedi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasedi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So then be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So next, purification of the speech. And Vajrasattva again, very happily, sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, fills your entire body, except this time forces up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine any gossip and harsh speech and useless speech and inappropriate speech and lying and talking about other people behind their backs and just kind of engaging other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasedi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya Vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasedi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Ambajasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. And again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you just flick on that switch and the light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. You can just imagine the light coming from Vajrasattva's heart, it hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression, anxiety, insecurities, bitternesses and grudges and jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled as we recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So you can imagine that all your delusions, and for all of this, this is the reason, the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech. So imagine they're just All these delusions are gone, they're finished. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sends light, and you can also imagine nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So now feel completely purified. And just imagine there's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. And even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And so the fourth step is the power of resolve. And this is really crucial because we have to make a determination. We have to make a decision that we don't want to harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And we can start by thinking about refraining from harming. So in order to do that, sometimes we need to recognize those things that perhaps aren't really serving us, that are causing us to harm ourselves and others. So sometimes we have to maybe shine a light on some of those things. So think about something that maybe you know that you do that's harmful. Maybe you gossip. Maybe you, like that. Maybe you swear. Maybe you mean to people. Maybe you squash ants. Anything that's harmful that you do, maybe harmful is a strong word, but anyway, just think of something that you'd like to refrain from. And, particularly if it's to do with the speech, you can just make a determination, well, I won't do this thing between the time I go to bed and when I wake up. And you won't do it because you'll be asleep. So we just try and help ourselves in that way. So imagine now Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you just think, it's as if you have a teacher. You just think that mind of that person and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and your own body, speech, and mind become one. So if you know anything about this term or this concept, emptiness, even if you only know the word, just reflect on it for a moment. There is no action of creating negative karma. There is no negative karma created. There is no creator of negative karma. So you can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. They're also, sometimes the way things appear to you may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, and think, and all those people of your life, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So, Katrina, we do a few kind of prayers at the end. They're sort of long life prayers for some of the teachers in our tradition. So if this is an unusual thing for you, bear with us while we do that, and you may join in if you wish. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And one of our teachers, the main teacher of our organization, recently passed away. So they're looking now for a reincarnation. So now we're all saying prayers to help that process. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Gracious Guru, care for me. Guru, most precious and kind, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, you embody the blessings of the Buddhas of the 3 times. You may rest in great bliss, equipoise within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion can emanate in myriad ways. The swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya. The time has come for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Arise, arise, arise from the Dhammakaya. Do not rest in Kachara or other pure celestial realms, rather to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor wretched beings, such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your enlightened body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your spontaneously present awakened body, speech, and mind and activity through our being baffled, confused, and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your 3 kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness, may there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion, conjoined with the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith, and Samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the 3 roots. Perception, its object, and the act of perceiving all dissolve within the expanse of the blissful clarity of suchness. Okay, I think that's probably enough long life prayers for this evening. Let's just we did all those this afternoon in Guru Puja. So okay, everybody, and it's 32 minutes before the hour, next hour. Okay, lots of love, everybody. Good night, and I will see some of you tomorrow evening. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for coming, Katrina. Nice to see you.
Venerable.